Well, we are back right here on the weekend, and our guest right now, our second guest this evening, we have with us Dari AlHuwail, who is a member of the Kuwait Dive Team. And the Kuwait Dive Team has provided us with some beautiful footage of some of their activities. Before we talk to Dari and get into our interview, let's take a look at some of this footage and then be back with you right here on the weekend show. Stay tuned. Well, that was some beautiful footage provided by the Kuwait Dive Team. And just to let you know, they're all volunteers working on trying to protect the beautiful environment right here in our state of Kuwait. Dari, you're a member of the Kuwait Dive Team. So nice to have you. It's our pleasure to have you tonight.
Thank you.
It's really nice to have you. And tell our audience now a little bit about the Kuwait Dive Team. When were you established? Give us a brief history, the mission, and so forth.
Kuwait Dive Team is a group of volunteers. We're all here dedicated to give from our time, from our efforts to protect and rehabilitate the environment. We have at the moment 30 members, and we have several environmental protection projects, if you will.
Okay, we'll get into some of those as we move along this interview. And because of all the great work that the Kuwait Dive Team has done, also getting a very prestigious award, as we said earlier on at the top of our interview, from the United States in Orlando. We'll be talking about that as our interview moves along. But now tell us, do you have to have any special qualifications to be a member of the dive team, ضاري?
Not necessarily. So we do have volunteers from all, if you will, specialties, from all, if you will, skill sets. Definitely, if you want to go dive underwater and be involved in some of the major operations, you would have to have a certain level of diving training. You'd have to have a certain level of technical training as well. But when it comes to our other efforts, so for example, you personally can be a volunteer with Kuwait Dive Team. You can utilize your wonderful talents to promote the protection of the environment and rehabilitating it.
Well, it's our pleasure always to have members of the Kuwait Dive Team on our program, and if we can ever assist in any way, it's always our pleasure. Tell us about the Kuwait Dive Team activities, ضاري. I believe we saw in that introduction some real nice footage right there, and doing so many numerous things. Let's start out with some of the boat lifting. I believe there was something there we saw was the Mona Lisa. You know, when I first saw the Mona Lisa, I thought we were talking about something else, but it actually is a boat in Oman. Tell us the story behind that, and tell us about that story.
Okay, the Mona Lisa was or is a boat of a Kuwaiti man. He called the Kuwait Dive Team because of our expertise in lifting boats, and he asked us, I have a boat that is sunken in the Gulf of Oman in Hormuz, and I need your help and assistance to you know, come pick it up. So here you can see the boat you know, in Oman. As you can see, it's sunken. So they came to us, you know, and required our assistance in lifting it. And jokingly, we asked the owner of the Mona Lisa to name the Mona Lisa from Mona Lisa to something more Kuwaiti.
A local name, huh?
Yeah, to name it Hassa or something.
Okay. And jokingly, did he then change the name after you helped get it up, or that story is not known?
That story is not known.
Well, that's amazing right there, and that must have been a very difficult task to get that out of there, huh?
Yes, it actually took approximately 3 days to lift it out, because you know, you have to keep in mind the tides, you have to keep in mind the underwater currents, the conditions of the water, the visibility, all that has to be considered.
Okay, a very beautiful boat, the Mona Lisa right there, but sunken, you had to get it out. And how was the weather conditions? Tell us about that. There's the dive team right there. Tell us how that went, the water and so forth, the current.
Like I said, it was challenging at the beginning, because as Kuwait Dive Team, most of our operations are actually here in Kuwait. We're not necessarily used to diving in Oman. Now, add to that challenge that this is a big boat. The first day and a half, the visibility under the water was not really good, and on top of that, the underwater currents played a huge role in navigating and maneuvering the ship.
But then eventually you got it out after how many days was this project?
Approximately 3 days.
Okay. Well, beautiful scenery there in the country of Oman, and another one of the great achievements, so many achievements of the Kuwait Dive Team.